morning, everyone. My name is Sophia Nyborg Anderson, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm excited to welcome you today to our webinar today, capitalizing on Instagram tools. As everyone's getting online and logging in, I'd like to start out by sharing a little bit about the SBDC for those who are not familiar with our program. Essentially, the SBDC program at the University of La Verne is a grant-funded program through the Small Business Administration and the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development to help businesses get started and grow. And we do this two ways. We do this through free workshops and webinars, just like this one. And we also provide free one-on-one business consulting online via Zoom to help you be successful. If you're interested in signing up for our free consultants services, we'll put the link in the chat. Most of you have probably signed up, so you can give us a call after this webinar, and we'd be happy to schedule you an appointment. Also, as we get started, I'd like to take care of a few housekeeping items. Everyone will be placed on mute to help eliminate any background noise so we can focus on our presenter today. But please submit your questions using the Q&A feature in Zoom so we can keep track of your questions, make sure they're answered. And also, if you want to use the comment section on Facebook Live, that will also be available for questions. And don't be shy, we want to make sure that you get your questions answered. Josh and Sean will be our co-hosts for today, and they'll be helping to moderate the questions, and we'll address all the questions throughout and at the end. We should have plenty of time to cover your questions. The slides will be made available after the webinar, and this webinar will also be recorded. So if you need to drop off early, we've got you covered. We'll send you an email at the email address that you registered with the slides, the recording, and all the links or resources mentioned in the webinar. And with those housekeeping items out of the way, I'm pleased to introduce today our speaker, Louise. Louise is a consultant here at the University of La Verne, SBDC. She specializes in marketing plans, social media marketing, and website development. She's worked with businesses of all sizes, but has a special place in her heart for small businesses, and she really understands where they're coming from. This ultimately led her to create her own digital agency, Micro Macro Agency. And without further ado, please welcome Louise Brewer. Yay.
Hi, everybody, and good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to share my screen, and we'll get started with the slideshow. Okay. Wait. There it is. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Okay. I'm going to assume everyone can see my screen. Okay. So the inspiration behind the...
We can't see your screen, Louise.
Oh, you can't? Okay. So share screen. Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right, so can everyone see my screen? Okay. All right, sorry, the dual screen monitor is doing its thing. So anyway, the inspiration behind the capitalizing on Instagram tools and resources is Instagram itself is a very, very powerful app that is literally a marketing tactic. It's no longer just a tool to post pretty pictures of your trips. It's no longer just a story telling people for people to brag about their lives, which a lot of people do. But for businesses now, it's become an actual marketing tool, an effective marketing tool for a lot of businesses in the retail, the restaurant, and the service, and every sector there is. The reason I really, really wanted to share the different tools and resources on Instagram is because the app has so many features that are undiscovered, not focused on, or not understood. And it's just a plethora of tools, okay? So as we go on, I will, next slide. So there's me, there's my contact information if you need it, louise@micmacagency.com. Sophia was so sweet in her introduction to me, so I don't need to say anything else about me except that I love working with small businesses. Okay, before we really get started, I really recommend that you already have a business account on your Instagram. If you haven't converted your Instagram profile into a business creator account, this is the tutorial that Josh Botello, who's also a co-host here, he made a tutorial on how to turn your account into a business account. If you do not have a business account, you will not understand or see or be able to follow the features that I will be discussing in this webinar. I also recommend you have your phone out with the app so you can follow along when it comes to navigating the app. Okay, so I'm going to give you maybe like 30 seconds just to pull out your phone and pull up the Instagram app and then and then what you do is when you have your Instagram app is just hit your bottom right. At the very bottom right, you're going to see the home and you're going to see your logo. Just hit that real quick and that's your home page, and that's where we'll start, we'll be able to navigate the different features that I will be showing you. Okay. Okay. Okay, but first I wanted to do a quick 10-minute activity with you guys, and this is purely optional, okay? So what I would love for you to do is type in your Instagram handle in the group chat, okay? Once you type in your Instagram handle in the group chat, you'll see other handles populate in the group chat. And what you should do, what I would love for you to do, is follow at least 5 accounts that pique your interest, okay? So I'm pretty sure you'll see a law firm one, or a retailer, or a business, or a babysitting, or a daycare, whatever it is. If it piques your interest, just make sure you follow at least 5 of those accounts. Now, with those 5 accounts, like at least 3 of their recent Instagram posts. And I'm sure you know this, but a like is a heart. So make sure you like and you heart, or you like/heart at least 3 Instagram posts from those accounts that you recently followed, okay? And then leave a comment, a meaningful comment, on at least 1 of those posts of each account that you followed. So you'll pretty much do at least 15 likes and 5 comments. This is purely optional and you are not obligated to do this. We will refer to why we did this in part 3 of this webinar. By participating in this activity, you are confirming that you understand that SBDC sees your social media handle and that you're comfortable with it. So I'm going to stop the clock around 10:15. We'll do 10:15 until 10:15. Just for you guys to finish that activity. And as you're doing this, I also recommend that you find a post that, from the past. We'll touch base on as to why it would be in the past versus the most recent ones. I would also recommend for the comment, not just like, hey, nice one, or love it, or awesome. Those comments are not meaningful. When I say meaningful, I mean try to engage that conversation to keep it going. Ask a question, comment on the uniqueness of the post, what you love about the post, things like that. And I love seeing all the engagement come through. I think I've seen 20 messages, so that's awesome. People will gain at least 5 followers today. How's everybody doing? Thanks, Sean. And everyone should give themselves a pat on the back because they're going to be like, wow, I got all this engagement today in the first 3 hours of my day.
If you're like me, you're just happy that you finally set up your Instagram.
Are you just setting it up now? I love seeing the numbers go up. Everyone's really into it. And what I recommend after this exercise is keep on engaging with those people. And again, I will mention as to why you do this in the last part of the webinar. Don't unfollow. That's mean. Sophia, do you think people still need more time, or can we move on? What are your thoughts?
We can give it a few more minutes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know the pacing, and I don't want to make sure like people sitting there. So if you're sitting there, follow more people, engage more.
Yes, definitely. No, people are engaging and are requesting a little bit more time.
Awesome. Sean, now that you have your business account, are you seeing activity on your account?
I'm stuck on my username. I'm really torn, and everyone is taken.
Oh, no.
I'm seeing some notifications in the chat that some handles are private. Do you want to comment about that?
Okay, so when you have a private account, that means that you're probably using your personal account, which is totally fine. But the thing is, when people see that, they won't be able to follow you, and then you have to go and accept their follow as a human being. And that's the reason why you guys have privates. And I do recommend, as a business, you do not keep your setting at private. I'm going to note that just to make sure we go over that. While we still have a few minutes left to do that, what you would do is on your business homepage, you know, when you click your little logo at the very bottom, you look up from your app and you're going to see 3 bars at the top. So from those 3 bars, you hit settings, and then you hit privacy, and then there's going to be a toggle at the very top that says private account. You can toggle it. When you toggle it to the right, that means it's a private account, therefore no one else can see you unless you accept them. Or when you toggle it to the left, that means you'll be a public account. And while we're there, you can also allow people to comment. You can allow people to block comments, allow comments from everybody, you know, certain measures. Like you'll notice on some major like profiles, you'll notice that they turn their comments off. I don't recommend this because Instagram is supposed to be a world of transparency. And the reason you're on Instagram is because you want to be publicized. So it doesn't make sense for your business to not be able to allow comments and interaction. That's just my advice, and it's best practices. So, and if you need me to go through setting your thing back to public versus private, just make sure you ask it in the Q&A. I can run through that again. Alrighty, so it's almost 10:15, and wow, we got like 46 chats. That means I'm hoping we see 46 usernames. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing that activity with me. You're good to go home and finish. Kidding. Okay. All right. So I'll bring up to why we did this again towards the end of the webinar. Don't think it was a waste of time. And if you want to continue engaging while we're going through this webinar, that's great, because honestly, this is the only time I will allow you as someone who is teaching or consulting to look at your phone, because that's how you will be able to learn Instagram much better. Okay. So again, in this Instagram webinar, you'll be capitalizing on Instagram features and resources. You're going to get an overview and a definition of the features. Okay. You're going to get a list of third-party tool and resources, which means all the stuff that people use to make their Instagram feeds as amazing as it is. Okay, and I'll share with you my favorite ones and what I highly recommend. And then the last one is going to be best practices to improve your overall Instagram marketing strategy. I don't know where, how do I say this? I don't know where you are, if you're like an Instagram like savvy person, or if you have someone assisting you. So, or if you're just starting, regardless, I think this webinar will be really helpful because it'll just show you how to really get a full grasp of everything that Instagram has to offer. Okay. So Instagram features and insights. All right. So I would love, so now let's go back to your home screen. And so this is from your home screen. You'll normally see at the very top, I'm assuming you already have your bio. Okay. I'm assuming that you already have your bio listed, your profile photo, the best ways to reach you. Okay. I'm providing, you also have your website, right? So everyone should be able to have your website. So you'll see here at the very top, you'll see your business name, what you are, what you offer. Okay. Something about you with some people have call to actions, and then obviously the website and then this is from my business point of view, but normally this is like email, contact, book now. And hopefully you've already set that up in your business profile. And I'm going to go assuming that you've already done that. Again, the reason I am going through terms and features is because one of the questions I normally get on a daily, like every time I meet with someone, is how do you do those little circles at the top of the feed? Like this right here, what is that? Or why do my stories disappear? Or, oh, the stories are so quick, like I can't even see them all the time. Like why? Or how do I end up on stories? Or how do I end up on Discover? And the reason, and what I think is very important, in order for you to end up onto the Discover section, which I'm sure some of you probably don't know what that is yet, but I'll obviously go through it, is because of the practices that we will start talking about in the second slide. And in the second part and the last part. So we're just gonna go through each term. I'm gonna be fairly quick, but by all means, like if I need to slow down, Sophia will be like, Louise, you're going too fast. Okay. Okay, so a basic post is a basic post. All you have to do is at the very top, you're gonna see that plus sign. You're gonna see that plus sign right here. Do you see this right here? So when you hit that plus sign on your app, you're gonna see a post, a story highlight, an IGTV video, a reel, and a guide. These are all the many ways that you can share content on Instagram, okay? When you do a basic post, you can do a still image, which is just simply a photograph, or a video that's up to 60 seconds long. Anything after 60 seconds becomes a long form, and then you can upload it to your IGTV, or you can trim it down to 60 seconds. That's the video portion of it. And then you can choose a cover photo for that video, but that's how, like, what a basic Instagram post is. A carousel post is when you have multiple images in one post. So how to do that is you're going to pretend a post. So you would hit the plus, the post, you would find the image that you want that's already populating from your recents, okay? And then when you do that, you're gonna see these little squares at the bottom right, okay? You're gonna see these little squares at the bottom right. And then when you hit it, it'll allow you to select up to 10 photos, okay? And that's what a carousel post is, which means that when you're posting, you're gonna be like, your caption would be like, oh my gosh, look at all the amazing things that we're selling in our office today. Hit swipe left to see what we have. Or check out all the tips that we have as a dental office. Swipe left to see the tips on how to have white, clean teeth, you know, and then each slide will have clean teeth tips, one of them being brush your teeth, okay? So that's the carousel ad. So I wanna make sure that you're able to navigate it. Again, Q&As, we're gonna save it for Q&As. If you have anything, just make a note. The Reels. So the Reels is literally Instagram's response to TikTok, okay? For those of you who don't know TikTok, it's this dancing web app that a lot of young people are on, but a lot of creators are starting to be on there. And what they do is like a lot of it's like dance videos, how-tos, quick day in the life, their routine. What else do they do? Like businesses will be like, oh, this is our holiday shopping guide. This is what we're doing for Easter. Look at what we're doing here, here, and here. And what the thing is about Reels, it's almost like an animated, it almost has that time lapse feel to it, or that stop motion animation to it, because what you can do to do Reels is you can record multiple images and video in frames. So it does it for you. So what you would do is, and this is where you hit Reels, and then once you, I have my thing. Once you hit Reels, you're going to be able to hit the record button. And then when you record that, what you're doing is like you're recording it, and then you hit stop, and that's already a, I don't even know what the term is. It's like a film. It's like a piece of content. Then you do another one and another one. And then once you publish it, it becomes one complete video together. If that was complicated, don't worry about it. It's just a step-by-step thing that you would actually have to do yourself. What I would recommend to do, like in order to just give it a shot, is after this webinar, just walk around your house, your office, and then hit the Reels option. Take one photo of your desk, one photo of your coffee, a video pan, like just do a video like pan of your room, and then put it all together and then see what happens. And that's what a Reel is. Okay, that's like the most basic way you can do it. The way to learn Instagram and to really capitalize is to really play with the Instagram app, which I understand that it does take a lot of time. Okay. All right. So the stories is, it was also Instagram's response to Snapchat. So these stories are up to 24 hours long. So that means it can be on your profile for 24 hours, right? So when you hit your home button, okay, so now from your home right here, you'll see this home button right here, okay? So when you hit that on your feed, you'll see handles at the very top. You'll see other accounts at the very top. When their circle is glowing, that means a new story was added, okay? I highly recommend you take advantage of stories, and I'll explain it in the third part of this webinar. But the reason they're at the top is because they're the ones who are constantly posting stories. So people who aren't even following them, or people who normally wouldn't see your content, are able to see your profile because you're constantly posting on stories. On stories, they can be an image or a video. They last up to 24 hours long. And I mean, yeah, they're for 24 hours. And each piece of content is about at the most 15 seconds long. You can take images from your camera roll and upload it as a story, or you can take a story as is. And again, in order to take a story, to do a story, to go back to the story, you go to your home page, and then the very top right here is a plus, and then you'll see your options of being able to post a story. Okay. Messenger. This is how you can send messages to friends, groups, and select people. Hack. It's what I like to do personally for my clients is you can also use this as a marketing tactic in a very non-invasive way. We can go over that in the third part of the webinar when it comes to engagement, but pretty much. So what I have the pleasure of working with a lot of restaurants, and they're really fun to work with. When indoor dining came back to LA County, what I did was as Instagram, as a social media manager, I would message, hey, Yelp OC, hey, Yelp SGV, we now have our indoor dining available. Can you give us a shout out? And sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes they'll say seen. And you're like, oh my gosh, they said seen. But honestly, it's fine. They get these messages all the time. But it's such a great way for you to get the information out there, and especially to people who you know would really resonate and respond positively to the fact that you're open, how you're operating, if you have a new product. What I recommend and what you can use with Messenger is you can use Messenger as, so when people post their photos, they'll tag a business. And in order to see that, who tags you is this icon right here, okay? So on your profile, when you see that, that means these are the people who's tagged you in their photo. And maybe like, let's just say all these people tagged you in their photo. That means they like your business enough to tag you and give you that attention. So what you do when there's like when there's a new feature, when you have a new update, when you have new services, when you have great news, you message those people directly and just be like, hey, thanks so much for supporting our business. Did you know? And that gives them, that makes you top of mind, okay? And people are on their phones all the time. They want to be reached out to, because we used to be a people of privacy. We're all on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, you're not a people of privacy, unless you have your profile like private. But chances are these people are totally fine with you just DMing them, which means direct messaging them on Instagram, letting them know like, hey, this is what's up. This is what my business is up to. Okay, so now the big one, the story features. When you go on the stories, when you're posting a story, you're gonna see all of these things on the main one. You're gonna see a create, you're gonna see a boomerang, you're gonna see a layout, you're gonna see a multi-capture, a super zoom, hands-free, and then all these little filters at the very bottom. So you'll see like an alien looking thing, you'll see some stars, you'll see like big weird faces. And I'm sure like if you have children and like 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds, you see them like putting alien filters on their faces. That's what they're doing, okay? As a business, it just, for you to use it, it just purely depends on the type of business that you are. If you're a gym owner and you want to like be silly and people know you as this like silly gym owner, this like hardcore like gym owner, and you can use these fun filters to add a little bit more personality. A lot of businesses that are successful on Instagram are people who add more personality to their feed, because basically now Instagram's like the easiest way for you to understand the person, the people behind the brand, the business, the service. And so the reason these little weird things are there is for the business owner to like, let out just a little bit of personalization to it. And they're like, wow, I didn't know you had kids. I didn't know you like to jog or hike and, things like that. So that's what those little weird stickers are. When you're finally ready to post a story on Instagram, you can take a story picture like right up there, like, just now. You can hit that white button. When you hit it once, you're taking a photo. When you hold it down for as long as you want, up to 15 seconds to do a video. So when you finally post it, when you finally post it, your content will be at the very top, and you're going to see an arrow that's pointing down. You're going to see these smiley faces. You're going to see this link chain. You're going to see a post-it, some squigglies, and A's, like the capital A and the lowercase a. What those are is the arrows for you to download the image or the video. The face one is if you want to add those filters to your photo or video. The stickers are what I personally love to use, and which is the most that I recommend for all business owners to really, really, really utilize when it comes to posting an Instagram story. Okay. So when you get to those stickers, so can you all do me a favor real quick? I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do this. So hop on your Instagram. Okay. So hop on your Instagram from your home feed right here. So this is what you hit. You hit this, and then you hit that plus sign, and then you hit stories. So home plus side stories. Take a photo of whatever you're taking a photo of. Like I'm going to take a photo of my screen. Okay. And then once you take a photo of your screen or whatever you want to take a photo of, you're going to see those options. Okay. You're going to ask, oh, what are those links for? What is that chain for? That's only if you have 10,000 followers. And that's a very special like award that you get for really building your followers. And then that's where you'd be like, oh, swipe up. But sometimes like some people don't have 10,000, but don't worry, you'll get there. Okay, so what you do is you will hit the post-it. So hit that post-it, the smiley face with the post-it, and you'll see location, mention, hashtag, donation, GIF, music, timestamp, poll, questions, countdown, that heart meter, and a quiz, okay? And then the rest are just simply stickers. You don't necessarily need to focus on that right now. Let's just focus on what's the most important. So when it comes to stories, the reason you want to be active on stories is because you'll constantly be seen and recognized, okay? Because let's just face it, someone follows on Instagram an average of like 300 to 500 people on Instagram. They're not going to see a total of 300 people's posts. You're not going to see it all in that order. They got rid of that algorithm. So how do you make your business relevant? By posting more Instagram stories, okay? So, and that's how you end up at that very top up there where it's the top circles, and that's how the user will be able to be like, oh, what's this business up to? What's this business up to? Okay, so when you're posting a story, you always want to add your location. Why? Because you want to populate around the people who you want to be surrounded by, right? So let's say you're a business in Glendora, okay? You want to be seen, you're a local business in Glendora, which means your clientele is in Glendora. So what you do is in your locations, you always type in the locations where around or in the area that you want to be at. So Glendora, what's the most popular place there? The Glendora Village. So geotag your business in Glendora Village so Glendora Village people can see your content. Is that making sense? So same with the Glendora Public Market. Everyone's always there now, right? It's a weekend thing. Everyone's always there. And that's how you can populate there. So always, like, you essentially want your content, you essentially want to put your location where you always want to be seen. Some people, on the other hand, like, so for example, Claremont Village, I know some retailers and like, oh, actually, I want to reach all the Redlands people. Okay, so you know what they do? They tag themselves in Redlands, even though they're not in Redlands. And the next question is, well, isn't that misleading because we're not in Redlands? No, it's not, because then they're going to find out about your business and they're willing to drive 30 minutes west to go see your business. So if they like your content enough, obviously, and if it's in that field. But that's how I've discovered a lot of restaurants, because they essentially geotag themselves in these places where I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go there. The mention is, you can mention only one handle in this mention. And it's, again, it's like a DM almost, where you want these people to recognize you, okay? Or if it's just someone you want to reshare, you can do that. You can also add more mentions when you add in that text, okay? We'll go through that afterwards. I'm just going through the stickers right now. Hashtag, you can only add one hashtag with this certain sticker. These are all stickers, by the way. The little rectangular things on your Instagram post story dashboards are called stickers. How silly is that? Okay. Donations. When you're donating, like if you have a cause like, oh, it's my birthday, or in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are donating to this. By every purchase goes here, feel free to donate here. That's just something that Instagram has. A GIF adds more, it adds more personality. I personally recommend GIFs more than the filters, like those alien filters, because I don't like it. When I see a business doing it, I'm like, oh, I'm way too old for this. So it just kind of depends on like where you're at in like what type of business you are. And so that's what the GIF is. Instagram finally allowed businesses to have music added to their posts. The music options may be different because of licensing issues, okay? So when you're a business, so originally only personal users can have, only users with a personal profile can use all the music, because like we're not selling anything. We're not making money off of that song. Whereas in the music industry, everything, you got to pay for everything. So with their music, it just depends on, some songs might be available, some might, and it just has to do with licensing issues. And then the other one is timestamp and a poll. I love polls. I think polls are such a fun and easy way to get people engaged. So let's pretend you are a skincare boutique. Let's pretend you're a skincare boutique. Okay, so happy Friday. We're here from this skincare boutique based in San Dimas. And you're just like, today we're gonna talk about, actually, why don't you tell us what you wanna learn about? And then you take a vote. And then today it's like, do you wanna talk about injections or peels? And then based on the poll, whoever wins, like you'll talk about peels or injections. And then that's how you can engage with that's how you can see like, oh, wow, this means that people are interested in learning about peels. oh, you know what? Now that they're learning about peels, we should do special promos because we now know our audience are more susceptible to booking with us because we do awesome peels, like chemical peels or those types of services. And so the reason you like polls is one, to get engaged, but two, to really understand like your audience actually, because if they're willing to take a poll, they're telling you information about themselves that can in turn help you make better decisions on how to sell, what types of promos, and what products work best for your business, products, services, okay? Questions is also really fun. Questions is a way for you to share and offer the space for people to interact with you. So it's like, ask me anything. It could be like, tell me, or what is your favorite way to spend a Sunday? What's your favorite, or what is your most, like if you're an insurance agency, what do you find confusing most about insurance? Like, you know, like, because insurance is always confusing. But if you give these Q&As, like people will all, like just understand your business better and be like, you know what? This business actually explained like what collision insurance is and what it means and what it doesn't cover. And it's just like, I'm going to go to that agent that I saw on Instagram because he or she was super, super transparent, and it was actually very helpful. So now I'm confident that this is the type of collision insurance I need, something like that. But it just gives people an idea to better understand your business and to show that, you know, like you are the expert in your category, in your field. So that's that one. And then the last one, I believe I X'd out, countdown, quiz, and the heart thing. So the countdown is great for sneak peeks, for launches, for birthdays, for anniversaries. Like, oh, we've been in the Glendora Village for 10 years. We've been in San Dimas and counting. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Get ready. There's going to be all of this, da, da, da. And then what you do, you just start a countdown, like countdown to 10-year anniversary. And it just gives people like, oh my gosh, like it looks like that account or that business has been there. We should go like check it out. What are they doing? The heart meter is literally just like, how much do you love this? that's normally the consensus of like, okay, tell us how you really feel, or you'll post a picture or an image of something that's awesome. And you're just like, oh, like, tell us how you feel about it. And then people will like, you know, say, not so much, or like full on heart. And, you know, that's a cool thing. And then questions, or I'm sorry, not that, the quiz. So what you can do is, this is another one. It's like, let's do a trivia or something like that. That's about your business or the service industry. And that's when you would just kind of, you would just show like some industry thing, and then you would allow people to guess the right answer. And that's what the quiz is. So right now everyone's doing March Madness stuff. So it's like, which team is going to go next? And, you know, a lot of restaurants and bars and, you know, anything that's sports related, they're all in the March Madness thing. So all their campaigns, everything that I just explained is all March Madness themed, like which one's going next or whatever. So that's pretty much the sticker parts of stories. I know I was trying to wrap it up fairly quickly, but there's a lot you can do to make your stories really engaging. And like I said, when your stories are engaging, people will tap forward because they want to see more. All right. The next one is, excuse me. So you can set up your shop on Instagram. Okay, I'm not going to go over on how to do that. I just want to let you know that that is an option for your business. We can set up, like, this is more like a setup time thing. Like, hey, like I want to get my Instagram shop, and then I would send you a tutorial. It's like, this is how you can set up on your Instagram shop. The discover is on your profile. You're going to see that magnifying glass right there. Okay. And how you get on the magnifying glass is, this is where it's a feature for brands and is designed to help profiles and businesses gain more engagement and exposure on Instagram with very little effort. When I say very little effort, I mean all that stuff that you did in the beginning, okay? All the stuff that you're doing with stories, all the type of content, the hashtags, which we will go through, like the way you interact and your activity on Instagram will help you be on the Discover page. And I love the Discover page because like when I see my clients pop up on other clients' feeds, especially when they're in the same industry, I'm like, oh, I'm doing something right. Because that means the algorithm is populating and telling that user, like, hey, it looks like you like Brett's Bistro over there. You might like Angelica's Delicacy, because Angelica is working hard and engaging with all of the Brett Bistro audience. And then the Discover feed will suggest these other accounts to that user, saying like, hey, it looks like this could be another account that you follow. So if you're into interior design, you're gonna get a whole mess of interior designers, and you're gonna see a bunch of interior shoppers and whatever. If you love clothes and shopping, like your Discover feed will always be filled with bloggers. It'll be filled with designer brands. It'll be filled with little boutiques that are around the, around the area. If you're a restaurant and if you love food, you're gonna see all the foodies pop up, so anything that your industry, anything that you've constantly engaged with, because you're engaging with the audience of your competitor's audience. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. That's how you end up on the Discover feed, okay? Instagram guides, they are a long form. So you know how there's blogging? This is essentially the shorter version of blogging. So it's like 10 ways to increase your steps on a daily basis, 10 ways to kick off this spring, things like that. That's what a guide is. Highlights. So highlights are these little things right here, okay? And so what you do to create a highlight is hit the new button. And then to create a highlight, you need to grab it from a story, okay? And then you just grab it from a previous story, then you say like add to highlight. And then you can kind of customize your highlight there. So if you look at your competitors, I'm just gonna use a skin boutique for lack of a better example, because I've been looking at skin boutiques for the past week, and I need some radiance. So I've been looking at, excuse me, I've been looking at the highlights of what the types of services they offer. So normally, like when you go to a salon or a spa, you'll see like peels, injections, facials, massages, Botox. You'll see all these little things, and then you'll see all these things that business offers. And that's what you should do as your business. So if you're an insurance agent, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, so like, these are the highlights. These are the things that you offer. You're essentially treating your Instagram as an extension of your website. Okay, wow, it's already 10:41. Dang, this is a lot more than I thought. Okay, Instagram Live. Instagram Live. This is where you pretty much can give an idea of, again, like your personality and what you do. Some businesses love to do behind the scenes of the way they operate, or like what it looks like at the business for a Friday night, or, how it means to just, what it means to be a customer of their business. And, you can be on an Instagram Live for as long as you want, and then it uploads, and then people can see you like right then and there in real time, or it becomes uploaded. It is uploaded after that, and then people will still be able to see it, because then it'll go as a post as well. IGTV is long form. So when you record something on IGTV, it's like you're recording a full episode, or you're like something like a how-to, or 10 basic ways to dress this spring, or 10 ways to, I'm losing my train of thought. 10 ways to get whiter teeth. I don't know. I'm just into dentists, I guess. Just things like that. These are just different ways that a dentist or a business owner can talk about their business and be like, this is how we can help you. And these are the types of ways that we help people. So it can be like that. It's just, but pretty much like it allows you to be on longer than 1 minute. Okay, insights. So in order to get to your insights from your home screen, from your little button right there, go to the very top and you'll see the three bars, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3 insights. You'll see insights, okay? The reason I really like insights is because at the end of the month, you can essentially understand like how well your content has been performing or how it hasn't, okay? So you have likes, comments, sends, saves, interactions, follows, profile visits, and reach. And then this is from a post perspective, and then you'll see insights from account overview. So accounts reach 7-day comparison and 30-day comparison, content, interactions, and audience. Basically, this is what I recommend for your business to do, and you as a small business owner. Keep track of your insights on a weekly basis, okay? Because so every Friday, just check your progress, okay? Every Friday, just be like, oh, we're up 1,000%, we're down 28 followers. We're down 28 impressions. We're down 100 people reach, or we're up, vice versa. You need to keep track because you can understand like your entire campaign from insights. And then at the end of what I do is I compare it all towards at the end of the month. And you're not going to like this, but unless you have a third-party app, you will need to calculate everything manually on a spreadsheet. So that's the reason I say just do it on a weekly basis, take some time and just view the insights from your post and just be like, okay, this post generated 388 people reached, 423 impressions, 10 people visited my profile, and things like that. And then that's how you can be like, oh, well, this month was a great month because all these people visited my profile. So for me personally, the most important metrics, I think, is reach, profile visits, and saves. I like likes and I love comments. That's awesome. That's a basic metric that you always want to increase. But when you start increasing the reach, that means unique reach, because reach is unique people. That means for like, if you have 482 people reached, that means you've reached 482 unique people. The profile visits is they liked your content enough from the feed, from the story to go to your profile. So they were like, oh, like this is actually worth visiting, because people have a very, very short time span, like short attention span. And so when they're willing to go to your profile from your post, that means like, hey, you're doing a good job. So you want to keep track of those types of metrics to see how successful your campaigns are. The other one I really like is saves. The reason I like saves is because there's two reasons why people save it. One, it's a promo, or two, they're using it for inspo. Me, as a business person, I save for inspo, but as a consumer, I save promos. Okay. So those are like the main metrics that you always want to pay attention to each week. All right, our first Q&A.
All right, Sean, do we have any questions on our Zoom?
Yes, we do. But my first question is, what is inspo? Is that
Inspiration?
Okay, yeah. Just checking there. All right. Yes, I've got a question here from Danielle. Danielle, sorry. Hi, can you talk more about the 10,000 followers thing? Why is that the number? I have a link tree and I'm constantly saying link in bio, but it would be so much easier being able to swipe up. Do you have any recommendations for getting 10,000 followers quickly? Thanks.
Haha. So there is no quick response. There's no quick solution to getting 10,000 followers. The answer to Instagram's 10,000 followers, it's an arbitrary number, and it's Instagram just saying you've got to have 10,000 followers. I don't think there's any strategy or rhyme and reason, because there are people with 5,000 followers who get tons of engagement, but you still can't swipe up. In order to get those 10,000 followers is by implementing the best practices that I will be getting to at the end of the slide. And so I work with 2 different accounts, and getting 10,000 followers for one account was way easier than getting to 10,000 followers with the other account. The reason is because they're almost the same type, but the audience for the other one is just way more involved, and they're way more like share my content more. They'll the people engage with it more, and they're just more involved on Instagram, and that's why we were able to build it. And it took a year. It took 3 years to get to 10,000 followers. So organically, no faking it, just like putting out the best content, engaging, and like throwing up on stories. Long are the days where we can use bots and things like that, because there are a lot of accounts that have like those ghost followers. I know some accounts that have like 24,000 followers, but she gets like under 100 likes, and that's really embarrassing. So try not to be that account. And if you are your boss, or if you are the business owner, or, I wouldn't focus so much on followers as much as I would focus on engagement. I totally understand that you want that swipe up. Trust me, it's so awesome. You feel like it's just like getting a blue check mark. But Like you just got to push and be active on it every day, sharing awesome content, sharing as reasons why you're a valuable account. And then that's ultimately like the way to build 10,000 followers, or get a celebrity to shout you out, or do giveaways. Giveaways are also really effective. And then I have a tool also for giveaways. That's a great way. We do giveaways once a month for my other business accounts. But even then, there's also those types, there's also like the follow for a chance to win. And then the minute the giveaway is over, they unfollow. So, but that is a good way to get followers.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sean, do we have any other questions?
We got some more here. Michelle is asking, does the Instagram algorithm ding you if you have a TikTok logo on your Reels? For example, when you repost your TikToks on IG Reels?
No, it doesn't. I see so much I see so many TikTok like watermark videos. You're just repurposing content. So I don't believe it does, just because I see so much content from TikTok. The only reason why you would get dinged or hidden is if it violates any type of, if it's like COVID related, you know, that whatever, like they'll be like, oh, this goes against our guidelines, go to the WHO or whatever. And that's how they'll ding you. But no, they don't ding you for having the watermark.
And now one more. Why do you use save to matrix people who visited your site?
Can you say that again?
I know, I was taken back a little bit too. Blanca's wondering, why do you use save to matrix people who visited your site? Maybe Blanca, if you could
matrix.
Add a little bit to that if you don't understand. Or...
Yeah, I get with the first part, I just don't get the matrix part. Maybe it's a math term that I'm not familiar with. That's
or maybe a typo.
Yeah, autocorrect is my worst.
Oh, metrics. They meant metrics.
Metrics. Okay. The reason I use metrics is, for example, so a lot of businesses that I work with have promos. So they'll be like 50% off draft beer every Tuesday night. So what that person does is they save it. And the more they save it, that means your promo is being recognized. And that's why, to me, it's a metric, because people are saving the material. They never save, like sometimes, like the reason I say it's inspo is because as a business owner, they're trying to mimic something or be like, hey, I love this feed. Can you, or it's inspiration. Like if you're a traveling website and you're like, hey, book now for, you know, if you're a booking consultant, you know, you're a travel consultant, you're like, hey, we're doing Caribbean fares for $300, and you post about that, even though it's not like so pretty, people are going to save it because the information's worthy of saving. So that's why it's a good metric.
Okay. Josh, do you have any questions on Facebook?
Not at the moment, but there's a lot of stuff here. I'm sure somebody will have a question.
Go ahead, Sean. Is there another question in the Zoom?
Yeah, we actually just got one more. Can you talk more about guides?
Okay, Instagram guides. Okay, so you know how when you are, I don't know what, like, you know, when you're on a magazine, like when you're reading Refinery 29 or Forbes or Inc. or Entrepreneur, any of that stuff, right? And when you read a magazine and you pull up a magazine from the stand, you'll say like 10 ways to boost your gut health, right? So that's their article. You're essentially translating the article from the website to guides, and it's a long form content. So meaning I'm reading the article already from Instagram itself, because basically what Instagram's trying to do is the reason they have Reels, the reason you can shop, the reason you can guide, the reason you can have television shows on there now is because they do not want you to leave their platform. And so instead of directing anyone to your website, you might as well have them stay on your Instagram profile and read your guides that you put together. Does that make sense? I hope it does. That's what guides are.
All right, we can go ahead and continue. We'll get to the more questions soon.
Awesome. Okay, so tools and resources. I'm going to try to zip through it because it's already 10:53 and I'm awesome. Okay, so these are a list of the third-party tools these are all the lists. These are all the things that I use for my clients. Yes, I know it's a lot, but it is what you need. I will briefly go over these with you and show you which ones I personally like. So Later app is awesome. So Later app is perfect for Instagram, obviously, because it was made for Instagram. And so it's a great way for you to pre-schedule content already. And depending on what type of feature you have, I'm sorry, if you're paying for the subscription or not, you're able to see your analytics, which, like I said earlier, like you don't want to manually calculate anything. Once you connect your Later app with your Instagram profile, it will do the counting for you. Planoly is the same way, but I think it's only for Instagram. Later app, you can hook up your Facebook, your Pinterest, and your Twitter. So in one social set. And I believe it's like $14 or $15 a month. So I use Later app for all my clients because it's amazing and it allows you to arrange the way you want your grid to look. And your grid, again, if you just go to your home feed, all the images that you see there, that's what a grid is. And then obviously I have some links too here, okay? The Repost app. So instead of taking a screenshot on your photo, instead of taking a screenshot, when you download the Repost app, you can just copy the link of the photo and then it'll copy it to the app and then it'll automatically download the original image from their feed as well as the caption. And so a lot of people do this. It's like when a blogger posts a product photo. So like if you're a jewelry person or you sell dresses or whatever you sell, like if it's clothes and the blogger like posts herself and she tags you, you can just copy the link of that post and then you can easily repost it. Layout allows you to do collages. So when you see like multiple photos in one post, that's what Layout is. It's an extension of Instagram. Trello I use for project management and for calendaring, okay? So when you're saying like, okay, on April 1st, I'm gonna post an April Fool's Day post. On April 2, I'm gonna do this. And then you would just copy and paste it into your Later app. The reason some people are like, oh, why would you double on Trello and Later? It's because I need approval before I can schedule it out for my clients. If you are your own boss and you're your own business and you already know what your content is, you can just type everything out in Later app and then automatically schedule it there. So I love Trello. Canva is incredible. Canva has gotten so good over the past few years. I was an early adopter and it pretty much, this is not to be mean to any graphic designer here, okay? It literally like takes the graphic design job away. It helps you be a graphic designer overnight. And so you just need some basic like layout and understanding of like, creativity and things like that. But the beauty is they have pre-made templates. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of that, after this. Over is the same thing with Canva. I prefer Canva over, get it? Adobe PS Photoshop Express. It's a free tool in which you can edit your photos. You can, it's free, it's downloadable, and you can have it on your app. The Video Compress app, if you just type in Video Compress app, it allows you to compress videos. So for example, if there's a video that's like, oh, it's too big and like, you can't immediately download it to your Instagram because you can only upload a certain size, you can resize it with the Video Compress. VSEO is visual something, awesome something, I don't know. It just makes your photos really moody and it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So for anyone who gets it's a vibe, like I know you get it. Grid Post. So if you remember, if you're on that handle Joyspace Co. and you see that whole thing form one picture, that's what Grid Post is. So they break up the main photo for you so that it can be one whole post. That's what Grid Post is. Oh no. Sorry guys, let's see. Unfold. So Unfold is another amazing way to make your stories more engaging. Okay, so like Unfold allows you to upload tons of photos and it allows you to upload tons of like photos and then like format it into pretty fonts. Like you can use Montserrat font or Miri, Bebasnu. And then if you have a paid account, you unlock all these amazing layouts. And so when you're on your Instagrams, you're always like, wow, how do they do that? How do they get that scrapbook look? Or how are they able to use that font? Because clearly Instagram doesn't have that font. So that's one. Quick by GoPro is awesome. I use it for a lot of my clients to make really quick videos. What it does is you just upload all the photos of the videos and then it makes it into like under 3 minutes. It makes a video and then it just formats everything for you, and it makes the music already match the pacing of your photos and video. Free app. Pinterest to find UGC, so also user generated content. So if you're a yoga instructor, or if you're like a wellness business, whatever, Pinterest is like the best place. If you're a boss babe entrepreneur, you'll find a bunch of that stuff on Pinterest. And then pickawinner.co/Instagram. This is to Danielle. I think it's Danielle who asked me like how to generate more followers by giveaways. And then so this is the one that allows you to do an Instagram a tool like to allow you to randomly pick people. So I'm just going to show you later real quick and why I love it so much. So if you notice, like these are all my clients over here, and that's okay, right, Sean? I could just show them like the behind. Okay, cool. So you're going to see like this is where I can upload media. Okay, so I can upload all the images that I want. You know, I can upload it and then it'll automatically translate to Canva. I'm sorry, later. And so what you can do is you can hit the preview, right? You can hit the preview here, and then you can see how your grid looks from overall. And that's what I love about it the most. And then what you can do is you can drag it, right? So this will automatically take the place. So this will post before that. And you can just change that format a lot. And so the reason I like it is because when you're on Instagram, you have to be visual. And in order to visually see your feed from afar, Later app is like the best, easiest way. Analytics. So you can, whatever handles here, and then it shows you what you, how you've done in the past 7 weeks. 7 days. You can do it for a month or custom. Just to let you know, Later only keeps data for up to 3 months prior. Okay, so make sure you're constantly pulling the data out if you decide to go with Later. And Later, oh my gosh, I love Later because you can now schedule carousel posts on Later, which is awesome. So that means you can schedule multiple posts on Later now, and like you don't have to do it manually. And it's, to me, it was groundbreaking. I don't know about you. So that's an amazing thing. And their training and their blog is amazing. It shows you all of the new things that Later is doing. Okay. So that was Later. I know it was a quick tour, but I don't want to waste any more time. I mean, obviously these links are in the webinar. So Canva, the amazing thing about Canva is once you create an account, they already have pre-made stuff for you. So you can do presentations, Instagram posts, Instagram stories. This is where you will live if you are in Canva, okay? So the really cool thing about Canva is once you hit that, you can, if you want reviews and testimonials, they have templates for reviews and testimonials already. So when you see all these accounts going like, ooh, how did they do that? It's because they literally use Canva, I kid you not. These are trade secrets. So they have editors picks, they have sales, they have summer, they have spring, they have this. And then so one of the main things that I really love are reviews. And so like you can see that people, and then this is what you do. I love SBDC, right? And then the name, and then that, and you can just download it, and that's a piece of content already. And then obviously switch out because I'm pretty sure you don't look like that. So that's Canva. And seriously, it's the best thing. And you can make all your story series from there. And that's what I love about it is desktop, because it's always so annoying to work on your phone. I personally don't like working on my phone all the time. And also one more thing about Later is, that engagement that we did in the beginning, you can also do it on Later. I know. Okay, so Trello, the reason I love Trello is, I don't know if I have an example. Okay, so the reason I love Trello is because this is how you can show your client or your boss, your manager, your team, this is what we're going to be doing, right? And so like you can see that I already have the date, the quote, and the image. And then what you can do, and then if it's like, oh, this is approved, and it's just a great way to project manage, right? And then your client could be like, I don't like this, replace, okay? And then they save it, and Luis says, I don't like this. And so the next person who sees it's like, oh, we have to replace it. And then when the entire calendar is approved, you can copy and paste it and then upload it into Later. So that's Canva. So Canva, Trello, and Later, if I were to pick out of all the tools, I would choose those 3 to start with. Okay. All right, Q&A.
All right, Sean, we have some questions on the Q&A.
That's right. We have a question. Is there an ideal time or length of a carousel post?
Ideal time or length. So it just depends. Some people do 3, some people do 10, up to 10. It just like 10 is the max. It just really depends on the content that you're sharing. Lots of people love the number 3, 5, 7. Like 7 ways to do this, 5 ways to do this, 5 things to know now, 5 things you should know. Like, maybe that's the ideal way, but to me, like, I don't think the number matters. It's the content that matters. So as long as each slide is useful, then you can do up to 10. But if only 3 of the pieces of information, if there's only 3, then you only do 3.
Okay. And there's some questions in the chat. Yes, we'll be sending out the slide deck after this presentation with the list of resources. It's a common question. And you may have hit on this in the last segment, but Ed was wondering of some other tools to edit pics or creating a good profile pic, other apps to help you with IG.
Canva. So Canva and Photoshop Express. Photoshop Express allows you to edit really nicely, and so does VSCO, VSCO. They're all free. Photoshop, VSCO, and Canva are all free tools, but there are paid features. If there are certain paid features, like if there's a filter that you really like, it's like, and yeah, go ahead and pay for the subscription. But if it's fairly simple, like Brightening, you can do that. You can also do that on the phone itself in terms of editing your photos. But what's really cool about Canva is you can hit the logo feature and it already has pre-designed logos that you can substitute for yourself and make it your own, which I love. And that could be your profile photo.
And the last one we've got here on Zoom so far is, what are some recommended YouTube channels or videos that also help with IG marketing?
What's his name? Neil Patel. Neil Patel is awesome. Later is awesome. Their blog is very, very, very I would say it's Later and Neil Patel in terms of Instagram marketing. Social media today is not bad, but the leaders I do believe are Neil Patel and Later app. Dude, I should be a salesperson for Later. But Later helps me with everything. They update all the features. They give me all the great how-tos, and it's so user-friendly that it gets you rolling really, really quickly.
Okay. Joshua, do you have any questions on the Facebook Live?
Actually, we did get one question. What is the full list of all of the tools that you're going to be talking about, and can you get a list of them?
Oh, it's in that resources. It's in the resources slide.
Okay.
And they'll be there.
Yes, we will send you a follow-up with the recording, the slides. It'll have links to the resources. We'll make sure that that's all available for you all after the presentation. So make sure you guys are getting your, questions in there. And all right.
All right, final slide. You guys are so good. Thanks for staying with me. Best practices for Instagram. So this is like my best advice. A plan, so this is literally the things that I tell all my clients, and this is stuff that I take to heart, and this is the practices that I actually do on a daily basis. And, I am fortunate because I am a social media manager. That is part of the services that I do include for my clients, right? So all this stuff is that I do. It's a full-time job. So please don't underestimate it. And I think that's the main thing that people run into. They're like, oh, I don't know how much time we should put into Instagram. It's not but it is. It's an actual marketing job. There's influencers, jobs have been made because of Instagram. So, I need you to make sure you're looking at it from that perspective versus oh, it's just something I need to check off my list. Okay. So marketing plan and strategy, you need this. Without this, you will not be able to successfully do any of the below. A plan does not have to be complicated. You simply decide, why are you on Instagram? Okay. Is your audience there? And what type of content and what type of, what will you do to connect, and how will you connect with that audience? The best way, the best analogy / metaphor to do this is everything that you do in person as a business owner, do it on Instagram. Okay. So as a real estate agent, you're knocking on doors, you're going and meeting the community. That's what you're doing on Instagram by DMing them, by leaving a comment, by liking their photos. That's like how to really connect with an audience. And then that's your plan. And it's seriously like people are like, oh, strategy, it's so complicated. It's not. You're going to post how many times a week? When are you going to post it? How often are you going to post? And what are you going to post? And why are you going to post it? That's your strategy. Answer those questions, and that will be your marketing plan strategy for Instagram. Remember, Instagram is part of an overall marketing strategy. You have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have Twitter, but Instagram has been the biggest one up to this time. Define and understand your audience. Again, you have to know your audience. Where are they? How old are they? What they like? Who are they following? Because then you can mirror those activities. I tell my clients to copy, copy, copy. Like there's no ideas new under the sun. I call it immovating, like you imitate by innovating, because you're not like, there's nothing new under the sun anymore, unless you're doing like AI. Everyone's doing the same thing. We're all taking photos, right? Gather inspiration, okay? So when I say gather inspiration, you are doing the saving, right? So when you're on someone's Instagram feed, you're like, oh, I like the way they positioned this product. I like the way they quoted this. I like this review. So you're saving it and you gather it. And then when you gather it, then you mimic it yourself and you're like, oh, I can do this. I can post this. That's what gathering inspiration is. And then you can save it. Brainstorm content. So at the beginning of every month, so for me personally, I like to deliver my client calendars 2 weeks prior to the new month. So because that gives you time to edit, that gives you time to really show your client or your boss or your team like, hey, this is what we're posting for, this is what our focus is in April. Okay. So right now, like you shouldn't even, if you haven't put together your, and you're like, oh, I still need to post in March. Don't even waste your time posting about March. Start focusing on what you're going to post in April. I love a good calendar, and that's why I like Trello. If you notice, like I have a calendar there, and it's all the themes and the dates that I always like, hey, we need to focus on April Fools. We need to focus on Easter promos. And so I'll always like have that content. Like April 7th is National Beer Tasting Day. So if you're a draft beer company or you're a brewery or you sell beer, it's like, oh, this is the day we can feature all of our beer, or we can revolve a campaign around that. And that's how we'll push that content out. Create mood boards. If you haven't noticed, Instagram is a very mood aesthetic, like, you know, you've got to have a cohesive brand. If you don't, you're all over the place. People are going to be like, oh, I don't want to follow. And that's something you can do through Pinterest. That's something you can do the more you save, because the more you save the types of content, the more it's going to start looking the same, because your eye will naturally choose what you like better. And that's what a mood board is. It's like, oh, I like neutral tones. I like bright tones. I like ocean. I like things like that. And obviously it needs to be with your brand. One of the things that I highly, highly recommend, and I can't stress enough, is do not compare your business to other accounts, but draw inspiration from them. So when I say that, I say exactly that. Like, please do not like look at a business account and be like, oh, they have a studio, or that's McDonald's. They have a multi-million-dollar budget. I'm just a local burger joint around the corner. It's like, of course you are. You're not McDonald's, and you won't be. Sorry. But not to be mean or rude, but like, you can't like let that discourage you into thinking like you can't make that content, because you can. You just might have to find another assistant. You might have to just practice on your own. It just depends. So don't compare yourself to other accounts to be like, oh, this account has 20,000 followers. We need to get to 5,000. We need to get to 20,000 in 2 months. It's like, no, because now it's just a numbers game, and you're going to focus on quantity versus quality. And I think it's actually like counterproductive to constantly compare. But I think you should draw inspiration from them. What makes McDonald's so successful? What is about their content? Oh, it's fun and it's engaging, and they know how to make me laugh. Okay, so you should start learning how to make your content make people laugh. Like, I follow a lot of meme pages. I'm literally there for the memes. They make me laugh. So, you know, if you're an account that's their brand, then you make me laugh. Another one is create content calendar using Excel or Trello. Trello is more user-friendly and it's cleaner. Trello is also free. Determine a tone and consistent look. Like I said, your brand, your tones, the color palettes, things like that. Sourcing images. When I say sourcing images, it's gathering the UGC. So earlier I said like you can do a repost app or you can source your image from Pinterest. Okay, sourcing is grabbing. Okay, there's creating, which is your original content, and then there's the grabbing, which means you take from other people's. But just so you know, always give photo credit. Always give photo credit, no matter how you use it. Chances are they're normally okay. Once in a while, it's like, oh, can you take that down? I don't allow people to use my photo. It's like, okay, it's not the end of the world. I'll live. Like, we'll all live. And if you get any criticism or like, hey, can you take that down? Don't freak out. It's literally just delete it. If you don't delete it and they're still mad at you, then that's your fault. Make sure for every single post you have a caption with a clear call to action. CTA means call to action, okay? A geotag, again, like your locations, and then you tag users in that photo. And the reason I say tag users in that photo is because you want to populate more in those types of fields. Like you want to be in the wellness area, so you can tag Whole Foods. Whole Foods won't care because you're adding more popularity to them, but for you, you're adding more ways for people to find you because you tagged yourself in Whole Foods. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Engage. Remember that activity that we did in the beginning. People think like, you post and then you call it a day. No, we spend per client, we spend at least an hour a day for clients engaging. We start in the morning, in the middle, and then at night, okay? Or maybe 45 minutes. So we spend about 15 minutes a day per client, or 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes midday, 15 minutes at night, total of 45 minutes a day of engagement. So essentially the exercise that we did in the very beginning, which is liking, following, and commenting, that's how you'll get in those circles, and that's how you can be in the feed. And ultimately, to Danielle's question, that could be a way to increase your followers. Instagram is not just a place to post pictures. It plays a huge role in your overall marketing strategy. Time management, allot time for it. Understand that you have to put a marketing calendar together. If you don't, you're just shooting blanks. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. I need you to like really focus on like, okay, why am I posting this in April? What am I posting in April? And then once you have that, then you got to go and be like, okay, now I got to shoot the content. Now I got to create the graphics. And so you just have to know like all of the elements that it takes to putting together a beautiful Instagram feed. It's a whole production process behind it. It's pretty much like a website all the time. You're maintaining a website more than not. And then Instagram is ongoing. Instagram's ongoing. Post stories. Why? That's how you end up on the Explore feed, and that's how you're always like ending up on the like you're ending up at the top of the user's feed. I do this because I'm here, but like at the feed, because basically it allows people to be able to see your content. Because if you're not posting on stories, out of sight, out of mind. Instagram changed it because they're focusing on shopping, they're focusing on other things. And they just changed that algorithm, which everyone still hates, but they've bypassed it by stories. And so the way to stay relevant is by posting stories. And the more you post on stories, the more you show up at the very top feed. And Q&A.
All right, so we're at our last Q&A. So get your questions in if you have any. Sean, do we have some questions?
Yes, we do. Jessica has a good question. She says, how do you give photo credit when sourcing?
Caption and tagging them. So just like when you're posting, that just tag them, and then in the caption, just be like photo credit, and then make sure you mention their username so that they're alerted. And if it's from Pinterest, just be like photo credit from Pinterest. Or if the blog, like on Pinterest, you'll see bloggers have their own thing. Just give credit to the original creator. That's all you got to do. But that's how you give credit.
All right, the next question is from Blanca. If you need help with Instagram, can you reach out for a private tutor or someone that can review your account to see if you did it right?
Yep, on our last slide, we'll have a sign-up form on, how to set up time with people like myself to just like review and give you some tips and be like, oh, you need to focus on this, and I don't like this, or yeah, I'm very transparent if you haven't noticed.
All right, Tony's got a question here. Can you talk about the tagging again and how to be seen? How do you be seen locally? Locally,
so the geotagging is one of them. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I didn't mention the hashtag cloud. I'm sorry. So for everyone, hashtag cloud is so important. I always put the hashtag clouds on the comment section. And you're allotted, I think up to 30 hashtags. I normally post about 25 hashtags, and I divide it into 3 components. So 3 as in like generic ones. So like I'm going to use a restaurant because it's the easiest for me right now. So foodie, fork yeah, eats, LA foodie, OC foodie, 626 night market, like all the foodie, like, use that. And the next one is if you want to target someone, if you want to be local, then you use the local hashtags. So when I work with clients, I use like Claremont Village, I use Glendora Village, I use San Dimas, I use Laverne, I use Rancho Cucamonga, I use Chino Hills, I use all those hashtags. And then the next one is specific to my industry. So like local restaurant, local business, Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant. So that's how I divide my Instagrams, and that's how you can populate more in the places that you want to be. And if you want to know if your hashtags are working, later will show you, like I said, I'm totally a salesperson for later. Later will show you the most effective hashtags, but also your Instagram insights will show you like the top cities that you're showing up in and your audience is in. So, if you're based in Huntington Beach, but your audience is always in Los Angeles, you need to focus more on Orange County type hashtags.
All right, our last question is from Danielle. Oh, no, we get some more coming in, so stay tuned. Danielle says, so when planning our monthly content calendar, should we be looking at the upcoming holidays, even those minor holidays like National Beer Day, or is that a little bit corny? Any thoughts?
It depends on your brand, and it depends on how corny it is, right? So for some reason, all businesses love to do Star Wars Day. Like it's always like, may the force be with you. I'm like, that's just stupid. But people do it, okay? They just do it, and it just depends on your brand. So like, right, Sean? So like, for example, if you're a franchise, you have multiple locations, it makes total sense to be part of May the Force Be With You that day, or like talk like a Pirate Day, National Pizza Day. It kind of just depends on the positioning of your brand. If you're like super sophisticated and you're like, oh, we only want this type of clientele, maybe not take advantage of every single national day there is, but just focus on the days that, matter. Like some accounts that I work with only do like the major holidays, but like, for example, every single Mexican restaurant should do National Taco Day. I don't know why you wouldn't, right? And then Taco Tuesday. So like, those are like the main things. I hope that answers your question. It definitely just depends on like the tone and your brand positioning.
Like National Puppy Day. I totally missed
Yeah. Everyone does it. Like everyone does it because everyone loves dogs. Like, so you kind of just have to be like, oh, like one of the things that I like to do is I like to look at your brand as a whole and be like, okay, yeah, you can totally do these quirky holidays. But I'm like, oh, you're a little too sophisticated for that. Maybe not.
All right, and Ed is asking about tips on reposting an IG post on another social media platform, perhaps like Twitter.
So the cool thing about later is when you add a social set, you're able to toggle all the social sets, but when you're posting, you need to link up your Twitter account to your Instagram account. And then when you hit the ready to post, it'll say share to, and then you could share it to Facebook, and then you can have an option of share it to Twitter as well.
That's all I got.
All right. Any other questions on Facebook, Josh?
Let me see. I believe that would be it.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this webinar today. Thank you so much, Louise. Such a great presentation. I like how you broke down each section, laid out all those resources that our viewers can see later on in detail. And if there's no further questions, I'd just like to, take this moment to say thank you again, Louise, for joining us, and all our attendees for joining us today. And lastly, as we wrap up, I'd just like to say that if you'd like to set up a one-on-one appointment with an SBDC consultant like Louise to talk about your Instagram and your social media marketing strategy, don't hesitate to sign up, or if you have already signed up, give us a call and we'd be happy to schedule you an appointment. Everyone, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time in the future for our Forms of Ownership webinar in April. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.